Welcome to Easy Science. Let us move to the topic characteristics of organisms. If you are provided with a coconut tree, a peacock, a ball, some balloons and a snake, and if you are asked to name the living organisms here, it would be an easy task for you. But if you are given an egg, a tissue stored under special conditions, and a DNA isolated from a fossil, can you call them as living or non-living? It is difficult until the egg is hatched and the tissue and DNA are budded to some other organisms. So now you may understand that confirmation of life cannot be made only by observing the external features. So let us learn about the characteristics of living organisms. The common characteristics are cellular organization, nutrition, respiration, irritability and coordination, excretion, movement, reproduction, and growth and development. Cellular organization. Unicellular organisms like paramecium, euglena, chlamydomonas, and amoeba are made up of cytoplasm and organelles enclosed by a plasma membrane. They show organelle level organization. But a multicellular organism is formed by the fertilization of an egg with a sperm to produce the zygote. And then cell division takes place to increase the number of cells. Finally, a multicellular organism composed of different types of cells is formed. So it shows tissue and system level organization. So plants and multicellular animals are made up of different types of cells and tissues. Organizational levels of an organism. The smallest structural and functional unit at living condition is the cell. A group of cells modified to perform a particular function is a tissue. A collection of tissues form an organ. A collection of organs form a system. And finally, systems collectively form the organism. This is the organizational level of a multicellular organism. Nutrition. The process by which energy and materials are obtained for the maintenance of life is called nutrition. Energy is needed for the cell growth and to repair the worn out structures. Organisms that produce their own food or nutrition are called autotrophic organisms, and the organisms that utilize the food produced by plants or organic compounds with other living origins are called heterotrophic organisms. Autotrophics are of two types. Photoautotrophics that utilize solar energy for the food production. Most of the plants are photoautotrophics. Second is chemoautotrophics that use chemical reactions for food production. Most of the bacteria are chemoautotrophics. Photosynthesis is the production of food inside the chloroplast of the plant cell using chlorophyll. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide reacts with water inside the chlorophyll in the presence of sunlight to produce glucose and oxygen. This is called as the equation of photosynthesis. The food web shown here depicts the connection between different modes of nutrition. Respiration. The process of transforming the stored food into energy is called cellular respiration. It occurs inside the mitochondria of the cell. So that process is not visible to us. But we can observe the process inspiration that intakes oxygen and expiration that removes the carbon dioxide. Irritability and coordination. Before talking about irritability, you should know the two terms stimulus and response. Stimulus is a change that is strong enough to bring about a response. For example, touching a hot plate. Responses are reactions according to changes in the environment. For the stimulus discussed earlier, the response would be taking the hand away immediately. For this to happen, our body should have the ability to respond, and there should be a connection between the part receiving the stimulus and the part responding to it. So, the ability to respond to stimuli is called irritability, and the communication between organs is called coordination. This picture shows the irritability and coordination during an accident. A stimulus is received by our hand. Nerves, muscles and hormones help in coordination. The response is given by the hand. Not only humans, even other animals and plants have irritability and coordination as they react to stimulus. Excretion is the removal of the byproducts from the body which are produced during metabolism. Metabolism is the sum of chemical and physiological activities or building up and breaking down of materials within the cell. The main excretory products of human are carbon dioxide and water vapor in the exhaled air, water and salts in the sweat, and urea, water and salts in urine. Nitrogenous excretion of human mainly occurs by the kidney. Carbon dioxide released by the plants during respiration and oxygen released during the photosynthesis too can be considered as excretion. Organisms need to move in order to fulfill their needs. They use various organs or their whole body for the movement. Unicellular organisms use cilia, pseudopodia and flagella for locomotion. And multicellular organisms use structures like fins, wings and legs for locomotion. Plants too move as response to various stimuli: growth of shoot tip towards the light, growth of root apex towards gravity, shrinking of some leaves when touched, and bending of stems always away from the root are some examples of the movement shown by the plants. Reproduction is the production of a new generation by a unicellular or multicellular organism for the continuation of their species. This is a very important characteristic because it is needed for the existence of Earth. Reproduction is of two types: sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. During sexual reproduction, gametes of two individuals of the same species unite to form a zygote. During asexual reproduction, a single organism produces identical new offsprings without the contribution of another organism. Growth and development. Life of multicellular organisms start from a single cell called zygote. Eggs and sperm fuse to form a zygote. Zygote develops into an embryo, and embryo later transforms into an offspring. During this process, growth and development occur. Growth is the irreversible increase of dry mass of the cell, and development is the increase in complexity of the cell. Growth and development occur in animals as well as in plants and also in all other organisms. There are three steps of growth and development: irreversible increase in size of the cell, increase in number of cells by cell division, and cell differentiation are the three steps. You may have seen white masses on decomposing garbage. You may not know if it is living or non-living, but later they may develop into mushrooms. Similarly, there are ferns growing on the walls. Also, there are lichens growing on stems of the plants. You cannot decide at once if they are living or non-living. Similarly, there are dried yeast available which almost seem to be non-living but become active in warm water. So there are living entities that cannot be easily identified whether living or non-living. Virus is a good example for it. They are very small and observed using electron microscope. They are about 1/1000 the size of bacteria. Virus is not considered as a cell. They are composed of DNA or RNA nucleic acid enclosed by a protein capsid. They show both living and non-living characteristics. A virus becomes active only inside a host cell. Virus can cause diseases to human, animals, and to the plants. Banana bunchy top disease and curly leaf disease are caused to the plants. And influenza, common cold, dengue, and AIDS are some diseases caused to animals. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Meet you all in another video.